Tell him about the time we faced two.
All right. Well, as I remember.
At Avenger headquarters.
Because united, the Avengers are strong.
Welcome to the Marvel Evolution show with myself, Andy Stead.
And I'm Jarian Gibson.
I'm Jimmy Smith.
Excellent. So as you can see and as you can hear, we have got no Alex this week and we've been joined by Jamie. How are you, Jamie? All right?
Not bad. Not too bad.
Good. It's good to have you back on the show. You haven't been on since Moon Knight.
Moon Knight, no. No, the special. There was the anniversary special.
You came on the anniversary special,
Yeah.
that is very
Yes.
true. You did come on that anniversary special, yeah. But it seems like a lot's happened since then. So it's good to have you back on the show. We'll have a chat in a minute. Jarian, how are you, my friend?
Doing good, another day, another something, I don't know.
It's that good, is it? It's that good.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got it would seem like we've got loads to talk about today, and we have, but we're going to split this week's shows in two because obviously San Diego Comic-Con was a big one, bigger than I expected actually, from what I thought Marvel were going to do. I don't know about what you was thinking, Jarian. Like, you get your nose in all of that kind of stuff. Did you think that was a bit more than what they was going to release?
Yeah, I was actually surprised. I figured they'd, release some stuff, maybe give us some things, but they came out, hot, fast and furious and showed us a lot. And so it makes me excited to see what they're going to do at D23.
Yeah.
I thought they were going to save a lot of that for D23.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So what we're going to hopefully do today is this show. We're going to have another show tomorrow, but hopefully this show we're going to talk about the week's news that isn't to do with San Diego Comic-Con and all the announcements that were made there, and then we're going to talk about the animation releases and announcements that were made over the weekend. But before we get started, we'll obviously we'll catch up and see how we're doing on stuff. Hi Lisa. Lisa's live. Brendan's live. Roxy's live. How you doing, guys? And Lisa, are we right in thinking that your Xander joined this week onto the group?
Yeah, I approved him this afternoon.
Hey, there you go. That's cool. He's come of age. He's come of age. But before we get started, so guys, if you're listening, as always, drop your comments and say hello and tell us what you're thinking on what we're talking about. Try and save all of the live action comments for tomorrow. Yeah, we'll just keep this around the week's news that Jarian's going to bring up and the animated stuff. But reading, what have we been reading, Jay? What have you been reading recently?
I just started the Muir Island saga.
Oh,
The X-Men. Just started it because that was one of my, like your collection. You've got one of the books that make a picture of the spine. I've just got 11 and 10. One was God of Thunder, which I've already read, and Muir Island was the other one. So I decided to just start digging into them because I said I've got 11 books now, so that'll keep me going for a little bit, I think. But I've started on Muir Island because that's the lowest number. I think it's number 12 in the collection.
right. Okay. And obviously 11 books equates to about, 100 comics.
Yeah.
So you better get started. I was just I stuck a meme on the group the other day because I felt like this. I went to the store and I was like, oh, I want that. I was just looking and I want to buy all of these books and all of these comics. I was like, I've got so much at home that I haven't read. Like, what's wrong with me? Read something. I'm still reading stuff, but then I'll be halfway through reading something and then I'll look at something else and go, I want to get that. And then I'm like, just building up this backlog of stuff that I haven't read yet. So, it's causing a nightmare. Anyway, Jarian, what have you been up to? You been collecting any more Lego or?
So we have this collectibles store here in town. And my son and I went there yesterday, and they have a pretty good lot now of stuff. They have like Funkos, they have He-Man, they have Voltron, they have Marvel, they have all kinds of stuff, and old and new, G.I. Joe, all of it. So he's always wanted to go in there, and they were having sales, like 2-for-1 sales. Buy 2 Funko, get 1 free, buy 2 bagged items, get 1 free. So we went there yesterday. I got some extra pieces from a bag of Legos they had that are from the Spider-Man Rhino set.
Okay.
And the young lady working there, she's like, I had no idea where those were from. We got them in a big a big bundle of stuff, and they're just random Lego pieces. I'm like, nope, these are actually from a set. And I showed her which set it was. I'm like, I'll take these extra pieces in case I need them. And then, of course, I got an old school Taskmaster action figure as well. He didn't have the shield or the gun, but he had the sword and the cape on, the old school one. And then my son got a Power Rangers toy, one of the Green Ranger toys. But the cool thing I got this week is that my a friend of ours texts my wife, and she goes like thrift shopping and that kind of stuff. And I always say, you find anything Marvel, let me know. Well, she texts my wife, and she found this cookbook. And I didn't bring it up here, but it's out the house, and it's Marvel Eat the Universe by Justin Warner. And so there's things like in there like Deadpool chimichangas. There's like Wakanda dishes in there, Iron Man, like some of their favorite things that he kind of made in real life. Like even a Rocket trash something he made that was like a dish for Rocket Raccoon. So my son's excited, and he's ready to try some recipes out of there. I think the first thing he wants to do is Deadpool chimichangas is the first thing he wants to make. So
You're gonna have to share some of those on the group.
Mhm.
You're gonna have to share. We just have a big cook-off. That'd be great.
yeah, I'll post a picture of the book to the group after this. I forgot to bring it up here with me, but he's all excited about it when he saw it. So
That'd be a great idea. We could have a Marvel Evolution bake-off.
We need the ratings as well from your son of how well you did.
yeah,
'Cause you got 5 stars already. Didn't you?
yeah, he's rating meals now. I cook now, so
Brilliant. So let's crack on. What have we got news-wise, Jaren, that's nothing to do with the announcements that we've had over the weekend?
yeah. So first up is Miss Marvel. So they said we're hot off the heels of that season finale, and we kind of have a gap until what's the next project until I Am Groot comes. No, She-Hulk comes out, and then I Am Groot.
Yeah.
So Miss Marvel directors Adil El Arabi and Bilal Falala teased how Kamala Khan's powers will grow and expand in future projects. And they had an exclusive interview with the direct. So Fala says the bar is there, and also the audience can grow with Kamala Khan with Miss Marvel because she's such a young character, and that's what's always in the back of our mind, getting to the quality of that movie. And then LRB says, I think power-wise, we saw the tip of the iceberg of Kamala Khan. I think there's so much she can do, and on that front, I think there is a big road for that, some more spectacular power. And then follow goes a great can of action sequences. And when Follow mentioned the movie quality, this article was in reference to kind of parallel to Peter Parker Spider-Man in the MCU. How we kind of saw him grow over his arc in the MCU and so forth. So that was interesting to see that, that we're just seeing the tip of the iceberg with their stuff, and that end credit scene, with the teleportation stuff, there's only going to be more they're probably going to see when we get the Marvels mid half of next year.
I think that, it's only natural, isn't it? Especially for a younger character to develop their powers as they grow older and as they get more used to using their powers. But generally speaking, we do see that anyway, don't we? We do see evolutions of powers, of power sets, whether that's in the books or whether that's in the shows or the movies. So we do see that. So I was expecting that, but it'd be interesting to see, because obviously there was talk about would she be able to use her powers without the bangle? What happens if, because I'm sure there was 2 bangles, wasn't there? The clandestines mentioned 2 bangles. What happens if the other bangle is, they're used at the same time? So yeah.
And then the next piece, Risha Shah on Kamran's true intentions. So there definitely is a difference. In the comics, he's a villain. So in the comics, he is an Inhuman. Kamran is. He's also part of a faction of Inhumans that are kind of on the evil side as well. He's manipulative, and he uses Kamala. Whereas in the show, he's actually coming from a very pure place and a very genuine place of just wanting to belong and feel at home. And he has this immediate connection with Kamala across multiple fields. And then obviously by the end of the show, he's able to share the connection of the Noor by having these powers and newfound abilities. He's definitely has a skewed, awkward, moral compass. He's definitely a bit more unsure of where he stands, but he does make the decision really early on to betray his family and protect Kamala. So that's quite a big decision. And hopefully that shows that he's a good guy with good intentions, which makes a lot of sense because, he could have gone just ham at the end of that when he found his mom died. But then also we saw that he's also with the Red Daggers as well with Kareem. So it does look like they're going a different direction with Kamran in the MCU.
Yeah, I don't know anything about his character in the books, if I'm honest.
Yeah, so he basically is a villain in the comics,
Mhm.
Inhuman villain. Similar to on the slide with I can't think of his name, going blank with I'm going blank on both names now.
Is that another Inhuman?
So who's the king of the Inhumans again? Black Bolt. Sorry.
Oh,
So Black Bolt's brother is also kind of a villainous person as well. You know, he feels that he was jaded from the throne type of thing. So he's also been a villain too, and I think he's with that kind of faction, if I remember correctly in the comics. So
Maximus, yeah.
yeah, Maximus. Thank you. And then what about the post credit scene? The post credit scene that we saw with Brie Larson, Captain Marvel, was directed by the Marvel director. So
Yeah,
she didn't
know anything about it, did she?
Nope.
The Miss Marvel showrunner, she knew nothing about what was going on.
Yep. And so she goes, the post credit scene was actually shot by Nia DaCosta for the Marvels. LRB revealed to comicbook.com in an exclusive interview. She didn't know also there was going to be a post credit scene. That's how Feige operates. Everybody's pretty separate, and they don't know why they do some stuff. But he probably said the same thing to her. Just focus on that, and for us, it's the same. We were the whole time asking, "Are we going to have Brie Larson doing a cameo or something?" And they would always give an answer, "Don't worry about it. You'll see." And we discussed that while we were calibrating the episode. All of a sudden, after the credits, we saw that, and we're like, "Okay, I guess it happens." So yeah, it's one of those things close to the vest. It's just like the mutants reveal that they kind of just said, here you go. And it was a good way to tie her into the Marvels because we know she's going to be in the movie. So
yeah, excellent way to do that.
Yeah. Her Assembled episode will drop on August 3rd. So Miss Marvel Assembled is going to be August 3rd. And then Feige talks about the mutants reveal. I'm sorry, Bisha K. Ali, also one of the writers and showrunners. Feige had one request for mutants reveal. Well, to begin with, it was the last thing we read, so that was the best kept secret. Nobody knew about it until I read the last version of the script, and all of a sudden it was like, damn. And then we had to ask the producers about it, and we would not get any answers. Then Kevin Feige said, just shoot this, put the little music on, and that's it. We can only hope that will be a part of the future of Miss Marvel, because it would be super nice to have some X-Men flavor in there. And that's what Bisha KLD said.
I think that I always try and look back, when you see these twists or these reveals in movies or shows or wherever, and I always try and then think back to what we've seen and see if there was any hints for it throughout. And I haven't watched anything again with Miss Marvel, but I can't put my finger on anything that throughout the show pointed to that reveal. I don't know if either of you have seen anything, can think of anything that was said or anything that come up. But I mean, apart from really ambiguous sort of, oh yeah, you're special or things like that.
There was nothing direct. It was always kind of like on the fringe of it, was saying like, heritage, lineage, your family, that kind of stuff. So they did drop some hints, but those hints could have gone to Inhuman. They could have gone to Mutant. They could have gone to anything else as well. So they weren't direct ties, but they're more indirect.
Yeah, and that's why they've managed to keep it a secret from even like the showrunners and the producers and things like that. They've just gone, actually, look, there's nothing in there that says this is what it is, and we're just going to put this in right at the end, right at the last day of filming, almost, so everybody's like, oh, okay.
And then from the chat comments here, I thought it was a really good finale, Miss Marvel, which I agree as well. They stuck the landing on that series.
Yeah, for sure. Those last two episodes were really, really well done, and I think they upped the intensity of the show in those last two episodes, didn't they? Yeah.
And then speaking of the Marvels, so Samuel L. Jackson is filming for the Marvels. On his Instagram earlier this week, he said "Rise and Grind" back in the box with the Marvels hashtag, and this is for reshoots.
Nice.
Also, too, it was discussed this week out there that the Marvels will contain musical elements. Rumor has it, planets and habitats will sing instead of talk. And also Brie Larson has sung in the movies. Remember Scott Pilgrim? She did sing in that movie. Scott Pilgrim.
I know that RMC is listening right now. I'd love to see this comment. I'm waiting for it to come in. And you won't even need to know. You'll know exactly who it's from, Jeremy, when you see it. Come on, I'm waiting for it. I know he's listening. I'm live.
I got one comment. Someone says, oh boy, on one of the comments here. and then Roxy's is saying say what. So basically, it's just a planet the way they communicate. It's not spoken language. It's instead it's sung language. And for me, this takes me back to The Simpsons. The Planet of the Apes musical. If they do it like that, that'll actually be pretty good. So I'm interested to see how they actually pull that off.
I can't get it. I still can't get enough of Rogers the musical. I just still want to go see it.
I can do this all day. And Hulk smash.
They're gonna be so sorry. Just before we get RMC's comment on the musical, obviously the Secret Invasion and the Marvels are talking about Samuel Jackson and Nick Fury being in Marvels. They're very closely. We know now. I mean, I know we're not going to talk about this directly now, but we know now that Secret Invasion is spring in 2023. So, and we know that Miss Marvel is July 28th, 2023. Yep. So they're very, very closely linked, probably follow straight on, in fact. So that's going to be really interesting to see Fury's development as he come in going.
So Roxy thinks it's another Joker, thinking of the musical. And then another comment here, I'd love to go see the Rogers musical, which I would too. I'd go see that.
Yeah.
But I haven't seen anything from RMC yet. So I don't know if he's watching or if he's typing it up still. In disgust.
He's just left. He's left.
I'm not going to see it.
He's left the group and everything. He's just gone.
Okay, well I guess we'll move on then.
Yeah.
Hold on a second. Here's a comment here that we can talk about. I feel like I'm in an alternate universe. What's with all the musicals? So if you didn't hear me when I said this earlier, the Marvels, I guess there'll be a planet where instead of spoken language where they do sentences, they're going to be singing to communicate, and so that's what the musical stuff's about. So because no musicals, please.
That's Alex.
Alex, no musicals, please. Yep, and Alex is on the road today, and that's why he's in the chat, not on with us today. So
hopefully he's not texting while on the road.
Yeah.
Be safe, Alex. Anyway, carry on, Joe.
Yeah. So next project we'll talk about is Ironheart. So Anthony Ramos is shooting. We still don't know what role he's going to play. It's a secret role. We don't know if he's going to be like, what is it, the Hood or related to Stain or somebody else. But he talked about shooting the first day. He said we started shooting Marvel. Shit fire. Yesterday was my first day. It went well. Shit about to be crazy. This is all reference to Ironheart. So
fair enough.
Yep.
We don't want to. We'll go into the Wakanda Forever trailer tomorrow, but obviously, we get glimpses of Riri in there.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean that's going to be an interesting show. There's a big gap as well between Wakanda Forever and Ironheart. Lots of projects in between that. So yeah, and I don't really know a great deal about Riri, if I'm honest. I mean, I have read little bits and pieces about her in the books, but not a massive amount. So, and it looks like they're going to play with obviously her Wakandan connection somehow as well.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean, it's going to be a fun show.
Yeah, so basically it sounds like Wakanda and Shuri are going to be a surrogate for Tony and Stark Industries, because basically her backstory is she finds Stark Tech, she builds her own suit, and then ends up having a connection with Tony and Pepper, and they kind of help her. So it sounds like that they change that up for Shuri and Wakanda Forever. We know that she's MIT. I guess when we get to Ironheart, I have all kinds of thoughts about this. We won't discuss today.
Yeah.
Jamie knows them because we had a side chat about this, about Ironheart and about how they could have done her in the MCU. And I think, I'll just say today, I think she could have been plan B for Peter Parker if they didn't get Spider-Man rights for Parker in the MCU. Because if you kind of look at the way that people thought that Peter Parker was Iron Boy in the MCU,
yeah,
you kind of see some parallels there between how Peter Parker and Tony are in the MCU to how Riri and Tony are in the comics. And so like, just for a couple things I said today in our chat was like I said, instead of doing Harley in Iron Man 3, you could have had Riri as that person. Civil War, when he was at the MIT and so all your projects are funded, she could have been in that room.
Mm-hmm.
She could have been blipped. And then now she's back, and then now maybe she's like, so all kinds of ways you could do it. And she could be part of they can make a Wakandan heritage possibly from when they have people all over the world undercover. All kinds of ways they could do it with her, but we'll see. We'll talk about Ironheart more as we get closer to Wakanda Forever and her series. So
yeah, sure.
No Way Home. There is going to be the more fun stuff version. It will start releasing worldwide on 8/31, so August 31st. First in Indonesia, and then through September, it's going to launch everywhere else. It'll be worldwide by October 6th. Basically, it's going to be 15 minutes of extra footage.
Oh, okay.
So
Interesting. I wonder where they're getting that from. I mean, it was a long movie in the first place, wasn't it?
yeah,
Mhm.
it reminds me of you ever watch The Big Bang Theory?
Mhm.
When they went to go try to get into Indiana Jones, see the extra 90 seconds of the film.
Yeah.
That's what it reminds me of.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, was it? Yeah, I can't remember which Indiana Jones it was, but it was 90 seconds, something like that. But anyways, Spider-Man freshman year. We'll get to more of this when we get into the SDC stuff. But before the animation panel, it came out and said that Tom Holland will not be voicing Peter Parker in that series. So we'll have probably the same person that voiced him in What If, probably most likely. But yeah, not going to be voicing him by Holland.
I think all of those guys in What If that weren't their character in the MCU, I thought they'd done a cracking job.
Yeah.
I thought there was some great
Stark, Natasha. Yeah.
I thought there was some really good efforts there, actually. So yeah, I mean, I wouldn't have even noticed if you hadn't said anything, I don't think.
Question here. Did they say why? No, they didn't. So we'll have to look at that one. And it looks like our Facebook page might be having some issues because we have someone that said not seeing this video on the Facebook page. I'll have to look at that afterwards. I know that I'm not seeing the push the chat to the page either. So before I schedule next week's, I'll look at the connection there. But yeah, so where was I talking about?
Where was you at? You was at freshman year. You just said about.
Oh yeah. So that's all I have freshman year until we get to the animation panel.
Okay. Yeah.
And then someone goes, must admit, I'm not even realized that Holland didn't voice Parker in What If. I know, like I said, Peter Parker, Natasha Romanoff, and Tony Stark, those voice actors all did a great job voicing those in What If because you couldn't even tell.
Yeah. No. That's fair.
Speaking of Spider-Man type stuff, Madam Web news. The movie did get pushed back from July 7th, 2023 to October 6th, 2023. It got pushed back.
Okay.
I don't know why it got pushed back. But they also pushed back an entitled Marvel film as well that was supposed to release on October 6th, where Madam Web is going to be now, to June 7th, 2024 as well. So that's interesting. But the good news about Madam Web, though, there are set photos that's because they are actually filming right now, the movie. And there are set photos that show what appears to be Dakota Johnson dressed as Julia Carpenter's Madam Web. I know there's been all kinds of speculation about her being Madam Web, and it looks like she is from the set photos. She has the trench coat on, the similar red suit on, exactly like a doppelganger, basically, of what you see of Madam Web.
I'm hoping that Sony can hit. I wouldn't even say a home run, to be honest. I was going to say hit a home run, but that's reaching. Just hit something that's
in the right
okay.
direction.
Yeah. Just something that's in the right direction. I mean, I personally, I've watched. I hadn't watched Let There Be Carnage until it was, literally on, free, television. But I didn't think it was as terrible as everybody had said. But I can see, there was obviously lots and lots of missed opportunities with that. But it still wasn't great.
Yeah. I still think their best project was Spider-Verse.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Yeah. And yeah, I don't know.
I've still not watched Morbius yet, and
No,
much desire to either.
No. Are they just flogging a dead horse? Are they really just trying to keep something alive that's just not going to happen?
And there's been rumors that Feige's supposed to help with Madam Web too, to make sure that things kind of stay as they need to be. So
yeah, that's it. Yeah, I did hear about that as well. Actually, yeah.
I'm just finding it hard to be excited for anything they've got coming. Even Craven, that's more of a 1A as well. What are they going to do with that? How's that going to go?
Especially
Madam Web,
Yeah, madam. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. I exactly know what you're saying. I feel exactly the same, Jamie. I'm like, I'm about this excited for Craven. So my excitement for Madam Web is even worse, you know. And shame.
So from the comments here, not missing much. I'm going to take that as in reference to Morbius.
Not too much.
And more Spider-Man news. The original Tobey Maguire trilogy will be on Netflix starting August 1st. So you're starting to see more Spider-Man stuff on Netflix. Remember, Netflix and Sony have that deal where Sony gets first rights to anything, and so things will go there first, and we'll probably eventually see them trickle down to Disney Plus.
Yeah.
Let me see here. Chats from the comments. Sony is good at solo movies sometimes, but seem to struggle with building an interconnected universe, which I completely 100% agree. And then if the Craven comment, I hear he's been giving them direction, but some they don't take. Super worried about Craven. So yeah, interesting to see because some of the stuff I hear about Craven is kind of my head scratching. So
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, I'd be really annoyed actually if they waste Aaron Taylor Johnson. You know, I mean, that's a big opportunity to get him in and do something really good. I really like him actually. I've always really liked him right from, you know, through Kick-Ass. I liked him as Quicksilver.
Yep.
Yeah, and I liked him in Tenet. He's in he's in a new one, isn't he, with Brad Pitt about a train?
Yeah, Bullet Train.
Yes.
Yeah,
He was in the Kingsman as well, but he wasn't in it much.
the Godzilla remake.
Yes, yeah. I've been a big fan of him actually, so I quite like him.
Yeah, so hopefully that does work out. So
Fingers crossed.
Love and Thunder news. Screenwriter Jennifer Caton Robinson surprised by post credits scene. I saw at the premiere with everybody else in the same way that I guess Taika didn't know Thor was coming back. I did not know that Roy Kent was Hercules. I'm a huge Marvel fan, so I was delighted to have one moment in the movie where I was truly surprised. So,
Yep, nice. Yeah, we liked that. We like that. Both of those post-credit scenes in there.
oh, here's another comment from the chat from the comments. It says, "And with an amazing character in Craven, they're gonna blow it."
RMC.
Yeah, hopefully they don't. Fingers crossed. X-Men. So there is a rumored X-Men project in the works called The Mutants. I know this has been floated before, but it's picking up steam again. This was not something that was talked about at Comic-Con. So if something is happening, we could see something announced at D23, whether it's a Disney Plus series or a movie or what. Yeah, the Mutants X-Men project is being talked about again.
Cool. I don't want to go too far into it because I'm going to save it for tomorrow. But I was just thinking earlier on. Obviously, we've got those two big Avengers movie reveals, and I was wondering whether in between we're going to get some sort of X-Men movie where the 838 X-Men want to seek revenge or retribution for 616 Wanda.
Yep.
So they come over, you know, for killing Charles, and they come over, and that's where we get an incursion going on, like the incursion, the main incursion. So, but I can see that happening if they want to bring them
Inhumans.
or Inhumans as well. Yeah, they could come as well, or instead of. But there could be some sort of, like we say, that might not be the last time we've seen from 838.
Yeah, and hopefully we'll find out those Phase 6 empty spots that got teased yesterday. Hopefully we find out those at D23.
Yeah,
I'm sure I can fill those in. She-Hulk. While She-Hulk was talked about at D23, there were some things at San Diego Comic-Con. There were some things that came out earlier this week, so it will premiere on 8/17. We'll get one episode. Then episode 2 will be August 17th, and then episode 2 will be August 24th. And then episode 3 will be August 31st. So every weekly release, 10 episodes, and the rumor is 30 minutes long.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, have they said 10? Because there was a bit of confusion, wasn't there? Right?
Mm-hmm.
I saw
There's been 9 and 10 being floated around. They haven't. Yeah. I don't think they can 100% confirm. I have to look at my notes for tomorrow.
Yeah. Have a look, see if we can get confirmation on whether that's 9 or 10, because they haven't actually said how long it was. Because how many it is? They did say 10 originally, or Feige said 10 originally.
Yeah.
But yeah. Now the rumor is 9. So, but
on your, oh, go ahead. Sorry, I thought you were done. Sorry.
No. I was just said half an hour. Yeah, carry on.
On your theory about the X-Men and causing incursion and that kind of stuff, I like the idea myself from the comments, ties it all together nicely, which it's a great idea.
Thank you.
Speaking of voices earlier, I Am Group series that comes out in September. Bradley Cooper will return to voice Rocket Raccoon. So there's some continuity there with voices.
It
back.
looks really good fun, actually, doesn't it?
Yep.
See,
Looking forward to it.
yeah, I thought that was August 10th.
Or is it August? I don't know. I gotta look at my date. My dates are
Yeah,
It's August,
the months
but,
are wrong.
but does it not all get dropped at once?
Yes.
At
I
the
think
episode, yeah.
Yeah, there's only 5 of them, isn't there? And I think they're only going to be short anyway, aren't they?
Mhm.
Like very short. I should imagine they'll probably only be 8 or 9 minutes long.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I don't know. I'm guessing. But
So we have some Disney Plus news, which I don't get this one. But first I'll tell you what's happening. So Deadpool 2 and Logan are now on Disney Plus. They are the first R-rated movies on the platform, but the Parents Council issues a statement condemning them for the release, so condemning Disney Plus for the release of Deadpool and Logan, citing Disney Plus promised no R-rated movies. Okay, so let's talk about this. When Disney Plus first released, they had no parental controls. Then was it earlier this year or late last year? They talked about as they brought the Netflix stuff over and other content over, especially in the US. They added parental controls to it. So while I understand that they said originally there was going to be no R-rated content on the platform, this was before they even thought about how big the platform would get. If they were going to add things like the Netflix Marvel shows on there, the Defender Saga, and getting rights back, now they have all the rights back to their movies, from the Fox stuff, why not put them on there? You have parental controls. I don't understand people complaining about this. Put parental controls on, problem solved.
I think
Monitor your kids.
I think monitor your kid. Yeah, I think some people just like complaining.
Yeah.
Just watch what your kids are watching.
This
What you're watching? I'm watching Logan. No, off.
we're all parents here, and I know that I know Lisa's listening as well, and she's come up with good points. And Lisa, chuck your comment on there about that, because I think we're all guys, we're all dads sitting here, but it'd be interesting to hear. I know your opinion anyway, Lisa, but it'd be interesting to read that out on the show. But anyway,
Yep.
carry on. Chuck.
Here we go. It's like I was saying, that's what all caps here. So for those of you who are just listening, not watching this, that's what parental controls are for. It's a silly argument. I completely 100% agree. Use parental controls, monitor your kids. I don't see the problem.
Yep. Cool.
So Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur. We got a trailer of that. Colby Smulders will be reprising her role as Maria Hill, by voicing the Shield agent on the show as a guest star. This will premiere in 2023. Lawrence Fishburne, who you know from Ant-Man and the Wasp as Bill Foster, will be voicing the Beyonder. Alfred Woodward, I can't even say her last name today, who was in Civil War at the very beginning. We saw her in the Elders of Tony Stark. She also was Black Maria on Luke Cage. She'll be voicing Lunella's grandmother. And then Wesley Snipes also has a guest voice role on the show as well. So that'll be interesting. I'm looking forward to this one as well, because this is the first comic book I shared with my daughter was Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur. So I'm looking forward to that one because she enjoyed the Marvels, and I hope she will enjoy this as well.
Excellent. Yeah, that's great. And it looks a little bit. Am I right in thinking it's a little bit sort of Powder Puff Girl-esque kind of?
A little bit, and she's very smart. She's an Inhuman, so this is another Inhuman they're putting out there. She's very smart. She's all kinds of powers, and she's pretty cool character.
Cool. Excellent.
The last bit of news, the Russo brothers are not attached to any currently announced MCU projects. And that includes and since Andy already mentioned it, that includes the 2 Avengers movies in Phase 6 that were announced yesterday, even though they said that's the ones they want to do was Secret Wars. Right now, according to Kevin Feige, they are not attached to those films. So
yeah. I mean, somebody new can come along. When we were sitting here sort of after Whedon done his sort of spell, what's going to happen now? And the Russos just done Winter Soldier, and it was like, where are we going to go from here? And they've knocked it out of the park. So new talent always comes along.
Going back to Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur coming here. Fishburne will be epic as the Beyonder, which I agree. His voice, be able to voice that. And then kind of about the Russo brothers, it's just surprising. I fully expected them on board, which I could see it. Maybe something didn't work out. Maybe there'll be a collaborative effort. Maybe we'll come in later. But if you think about the multiverse saga, what we're in now, what started with basically Loki. Maybe they're gonna stick with Michael Waldron as a writer on there.
Yeah.
Maybe bring Kate Herron, I think her name was, back to do some directing. We have Loki season 2 coming, so maybe it's gonna be a collaborative effort. There's a lot of multiverse stuff they've done out there, so maybe it'll be a collaborative effort. Maybe they'll come back for it. Maybe they're trying to negotiation tactic going on here. But we'll see. From the comments here, I think it's RMC if I'm not mistaken. Winter Soldier, Civil War, Infinity War, Endgame, all masterpieces. I agree, but like Andy said, there could be some new talent in there. They could trust the people doing the Loki stuff to do it. So we'll have to keep an eye on that one.
Yeah, sure.
So now we can get into the Comic-Con animation panel. And so that happened on Friday. And it started off with Brad Winderbaum, who leads the animation side. After the first season of What If, we realized we wanted to make more with animation at Marvel Studios. So that's interesting to see. Spider-Man freshman year will debut in 2024, from what they shared. It has already been renewed for a second season.
So I've seen some images. I don't know whether they're even they're right, but they're literally replicas of what we saw in Civil War. No, but instead of Tony Stark sitting there next to Aunt May, it's who's apparently Norman Osborn.
Yes.
Are they genuine images?
Yeah. So
right.
The upcoming series reportedly featured Nico Minoru, Harry Osborn, and Amadeus Cho as Peter Parker's friends in the series. We also will see Norman Osborn as well. Daredevil and Doctor Strange will team up with Spider-Man in the upcoming animated series. Charlie Cox will voice Daredevil in the Spider-Man series. The cast of villains will include Dr. Octavius, Scorpion, Rhino, Chameleon, and many more, including the Osborn. The series is set before the events of Civil War. So, yeah, this is a head scratcher because because we know that's what we thought was going to be was like his origin story in the MCU. While this is MCU, this sounds like it's multiverse or another universe or maybe the animation universe, which we'll talk about that shortly because there's another thing that is mentioned about the animation universe that we can talk about that lens that animation could be its own universe.
Yeah.
I mentioned season 2 is confirmed, so we're going to get sophomore year as well, which is going to be called.
Is that what I understand that freshman, sophomore.
It's gonna be called freshman or sophomore year from what they said at the panel.
Oh, okay.
During freshman year, Peter Parker will don a number of suits, including the traditional red and blues and the future Foundation suits. This appears to be a different universe.
Mm-hmm. Has to be.
I like the idea of an animated universe though, almost including, we'll talk about the X-Men in a minute, and we'll talk about zombies and that, but maybe not including the zombies. But yeah, just having an animated universe, and you can kind of just do whatever you want really in there, kind of.
So I guess I'll drop this now since we're going to talk What If next. Where is my notes for this one? So I get what they was said right. Basically, Captain Carter that we saw in What If is not the same Captain Carter that we saw in Multiverse of Madness. So that lends to more that basically animated universe is its own universe, separate from the main MCU.
Have you got any more news in there? Because did I just see that she's going to have a bit of a showdown with Wanda?
Yeah, so I have more here. I'm just going back up to my notes here because I have notes all over the place. I was taking notes like crazy. It's the only notes I have for Comic-Con. So What If season 2? Let's talk about that. Will feature characters like Captain Carter, the Scarlet Witch, which Elizabeth Olsen will return to voice, Iron Man, Black Widow, Doctor Strange, and Hela. So it was confirmed that Captain Carter is not the same universe. So animation versus live action, different Captain Carters. They've already confirmed season 3 of What If as well. And so that's pretty good. And let me see here. Where was the What If? So it looks like I have some notes mixed up here.
That's all right. Well, while you're talking about that, I think the ongoing idea of what if, there's while they produce more live action MCU content, they can produce more animated what if content. Because they've always got a different story to adapt. I mean, what do you think about that, Jay?
Yeah, I think it was we've said before that there's something really even if just one of the stories from each season gets people's attention, like last season, zombies.
Yeah,
Let's go do that.
Zombies are next.
But yeah, you're right though. It just and even if there's like one idea that comes out of what if that can be then put into live action, it's almost like they can, shift back and forwards. They can try these things. Alex has said it in the past about trying, just sort of spitballing ideas in what if to see if anything sticks. It's like let's just throw everything at the wall and just see what stays there, and whatever stays there, we'll test it over, bring it over into live action, and that's what we've seen that already.
So here are my notes from that season 2. You talked about some matchups here. So Captain Carter will go versus a Winter Soldier. She also will fight the Hydra Stomper. So what we saw at the end of season 1 is going to bleed over until season 2, when she came back after the multiverse battle. And then we'll have the Iron Man episode on Sakaar, which will reportedly feature Valkyrie and the Hulk. Odin taking on the Mandarin in an episode focused on Hela.
Odin taking on the Mandarin in an episode focused on Hela, or right, okay.
No, just an episode. An episode focused on Hela, and then a separate episode of Odin taking on the Mandarin.
Interesting. That'd be. I mean, I'm trying to think of why they would ever.
Take over Asgard.
I guess,
or maybe like him protecting Earth. He came down to fight the Mandarin because the Mandarin was, one of the realms was out of whack. So
yeah.
Comment here. I hope they keep going. Never ending stories to pull from. Can't wait for zombies now. So zombies.
Nice segue.
Yeah. So zombies was also talked about because remember we got that banner a while back, but no details on it. So it's going to be rated TVMA. So parental controls people. There will be zombie variants of Captain America, Hawkeye, Ghost, Abomination, Captain Marvel, Okoye, and Scarlet Witch. It will be the same universe as What If season 1. So that episode of zombies we saw, it's going to be the same universe of that. The protagonists in this series will feature Yelena Belova, Kate Bishop, Jimmy Woo, Shang-Chi, Death Dealer, Red Guardian, and Miss Marvel.
Oh, nice. What a team.
Yeah, and it will be a 2024 premiere.
Nice. I can see that's going to be really interesting because I can see Red Guardian being like the father figure of that sort of ragtag group that just doesn't want to listen to him at all, and Yelena just sort of rolling her eyes all the time, and that's going to be great.
And they also got attendees. So my notes are all jacked up here, but the attendees they also got they were in there in person. They got footage of the What If season 2 episode titled "What If Captain Carter Fought the Hydra Stomper." So they saw that there as well.
Nice. I'm really looking forward to that. I mean, I love a zombie anyway, so I can't wait for that. I wish they'd done it live action. That would have been awesome.
Yeah, and maybe they still can. Like we always talked about, we feel like they're floating things in What If to bring over, like we saw with Captain Carter in Multiverse of Madness. That kind of stuff. So they could be using it as a sounding board to see what the fan reaction is, and then bring that into one of the MCU stories.
Even if it was just a standalone movie, I'd love to see that in live action. Just but it's got to be as scary as the animated. It's got to be still rated the same.
Yeah, they could do like a live action series too as well.
Yeah, they could do.
Yep. Someone agrees with you here in the comments. Zombies need to be live action.
That's RMC.
So, the last piece of news on the animation panel was X-Men 97. So that was the last piece of that. Actually, we have a question here first. Prequel to What If, zombies maybe, like the events that led up to what we already saw. Yep, exactly. So what we saw in What If season 1 is the same universe for the zombies animation channel.
So that's Alex. And Alex, I think is Alex saying that Marvel Zombies will be the prequel to what we saw in What If season 1. I think that's what he's saying. just give us a thumbs up if that is what you're saying, Alex.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it be a prequel, but it seems like it could be a continuation of what we saw. Hopefully we get the backstory. Yeah.
Yeah,
good to get the backstory though. Like
that's
how they got to that point. Yeah.
Right, and exactly. I mean, I know we did get a little bit of that though, didn't we? We did get a little bit of the backstory, but that is my favourite part of watching Zombie Apocalypse, is that beginning bit.
Yep.
Absolutely brilliant. I mean, it's why I love Fear Walking Dead, the first sort of season or two, because that shows that bit.
It could, as I said, like both, they could do what, I don't know if you've seen any of it yet, but Resident Evil on Netflix, it's like, it runs parallel with before and after. So there's no confusion. It'll skip back and forth to the past, to the present, the past, to the present, and it just like runs side by side. It could be something like that. It could just go back to before.
Yeah.
And then it could skip to after, sort of thing.
Yeah, 2 stories. Yeah, that was what Alex was thinking.
Yep. Yeah. So one comment here, I like it, Alex. They like your thoughts there. And then and Alex is confirming, yep, that's it, Andy. Sorry, like seeing Vision trap Wanda. So
yeah, cool. Yeah, no.
Back to X97. That was the last piece from the animation panel. The lineup will feature Wolverine, Rogue, Gambit, Jubilee, Cyclops, Storm, Jean Grey, and Beast. So sounds like, the original ones.
Yeah.
And then the series will also feature Nightcrawler, Sunspot, Cable, Bishop, Forge, and Morph, which I love the Morph episode with Wolverine from the original one. In this series, Magneto is the leader of the X-Men. And you saw Magneto, a picture of him with the long gray hair, looking like a rock star kind of type thing. So they show some panels of it, which are posted in the group. The villains include the return of Mr. Sinister, including along with Sebastian Shaw, Emma Frost, Calypso, and Val Cooper. The series will premiere in fall of 2023 with a second season confirmed and in the works. And the last piece of news on X-Men before we want to discuss further is that right now the episode order is messed up on Disney Plus. They are fixing that. So it's going to be reordered to the correct order back to the original series order.
Oh, I hadn't even noticed. I mean, I've watched a few of them, and I mean, I watched them all when I was a kid. That's what got me into Marvel, watching that show. So that's I'm very much looking forward to that. To be totally honest, I hope I enjoy it. I think this is one of those moments where, like I keep so for me, computer games. Yeah, I was a big gamer when I was younger, not so much now, but Grand Theft Auto Vice City was my game, and I've been talking for ages as to whether I go out and buy a PS2 and Grand Theft Auto Vice City now so that I can play it. But I'm not sure if I want to do that in case I ruin it. Do you know what I mean? And this is the same. Like, I don't know. Do I go and watch this? I mean, I am going to watch X-Men 97, but when I watch it, is it going to ruin what I thought that was the best show in the world ever? And I'm like, if I go and watch this now, am I going to ruin what I thought was a good show? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but I don't think they're going to ruin it because from everything I've read up, even before Comic-Con, they're bringing a lot of the original people back to do it. Writers, voice actors, that kind of stuff. So you're going to have some of the same people there. But yeah, I understand it. It's kind of like a time capsule thing, right?
Yeah.
Like if they remade Howard the Duck, for example, would they capture the same thing they caught from the first movie? They made a second Howard the Duck movie type of thing.
Yeah, and you're not you're not the same up here, are you?
Yeah.
You're not the same in your mind. What you remember back then was these fantastic storylines and these amazing characters and all of this, and like they were amazing, and I want to keep them amazing, and I don't want to sort of tarnish. It's like, so Jamie will appreciate this. Well, to be any sportsman will appreciate it. You've got like a football player that plays for their club, and they're like an absolute legend, and then they go away, and then they come back when they're a little bit older, and then they're rubbish, and they're like
Beckham.
Well, he never went anywhere, did he? He never really went. He
went over to the LA Galaxy for a while in the MLS.
Yeah, but he never then came back.
Oh yeah, true.
Didn't
he play for like in the worldwide tournaments, like in the World Cup and that kind of stuff? Did he come back and play in those though?
Yeah. But not for his club, so not for Manchester United.
But maybe Henry for Arsenal when he went away, came back to Arsenal for a loan spell, didn't he?
Yeah, but said that when he did come back, he's
still alright, wasn't he? Yeah,
and he scored that goal against Leeds. He was 2-1 down or 2-0 down in the FA Cup, or 1-0 down in the FA Cup, and he come back and scored a goal, and he was a legend. But generally speaking, they ruined their reputation.
Yeah.
All I'm trying to say is that I hope it doesn't ruin, for me personally, I hope it doesn't ruin my thoughts on, what I thought was a great show back then. That's all I'm saying.
So one comment here: theme song stuck in the head now, but Roxy does agree with you, Andy Seed.
I'm just like that.
Yep.
Just don't want it to ruin it for me. But because it's like comics. It's like reading comics. If you go back and read comics from the sort of 60s and 70s, they're great. Don't get me wrong, absolutely love them. But it's all very much like those the in the panels. It's like, and here we see Iron Man using his iron suit and repulsor blast, and they sort of read it out to you, and it's hard to read them now. And like I've tried to get my kids into older comics, and like they just don't want to know because nobody speaks like that anymore.
Yeah, that's a good point. Because even going back and reading the older stuff on Marvel Unlimited, it's you have to like really focus on the comic. I get it.
Yeah,
A comment here says reminds you of the Rolling Stones Geritol tour. If that makes any sense. I don't.
That's RMC. I'm guessing.
Okay.
I'm guessing. Oh yeah, you might have to. That doesn't make any sense to me either, RMC. But I'm sure that there's some ruin a legacy there. So
yeah, probably. I think what he's saying is that he saw them back in the day when they're younger, and then now that they're older and that kind of stuff, they don't have the same energy, the same charisma as before. I think is what he's saying.
Yeah, there you go. But I mean, X-Men '97. I'll watch it. I know I will. So.
And I love the kid using the theme song. Like we saw it in Mom, we heard it in Miss Marvel. I wonder if we're going to keep doing that to kind of single things when there's mutants in the MCU now.
Yeah, I think they should. And I think someone somewhere along the line, and it's got to be Deadpool, he's just going to turn around and go, "What's that?" He's sort of going to look up and go, "Where did that come from?"
So RMC goes, "You got it, Jar." So I guess my explanation was it. So
yeah, cool. Yeah, that little noise is brilliant. Do you know what? I pointed that out to somebody the other day that didn't even notice it in the Miss Marvel thing. I mean, they're a fan, but not a huge fan. And when I pointed it out, you could see the look on his face. Just went, all of a sudden that moment changed for him completely.
It was funny. Alex and I were talking about that, and after right after the show, he watched it. And he's like, "Did I hear what I thought I hear?" I was like, "Yeah, you heard it." He's like, "I had to go back and watch it again to make sure I heard what I thought I heard." I was like, "Yeah, my wife and I were watching. I had to rewind it because I was like, what was that again?"
Speaking about noises, the noise and going back to Miss Marvel, the noise at the end of when she teleports is just go back and listen to that noise. It's brilliant. It's like she's folding in on herself.
Yeah.
It's a brilliant noise, and I love a noise. I love a good noise, and again, we'll talk about it tomorrow maybe. But when they showed one of the Avengers logos, the music was brilliant. I thought the music was really like I don't know, it was menacing, but also had that same sort of real, big gravitas. But yeah. Anyway, well, look at that. We've spent an hour talking about cartoons.
Yeah, 2 comments real quick. That was a brilliant moment. In Miss Marvel, I think talking about the X-Men reveal, and then the whoosh sound is what you're talking about from Roxy.
Yeah, was it?
And then also a genius move about that sequence. So
yeah, I call it a flop. I don't know. Was it? I don't think it was a whoosh.
So here's an interesting. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I just said I don't. I was just repeated what I said. I don't think it was a whoosh.
Here's an interesting comment. As a DC fan, yeah, they died with all those Marvel announcements. Yeah, because it seemed like DC did overshadow, got overshadowed by the Marvel announcements. DC had some good ones. Black Adam, Shazam, that kind of stuff, and the Shazam looks really fun. I actually look forward to Shazam. Black Adam, I don't know, but Hawkman looked great in what you saw in that footage in the trailer. So yeah, it does seem like that Marvel did overshadow DC yesterday. It's like DC saw this, DC did this. Marvel's like, okay, we can do better. And they said, you know what? We'll figure out D23 afterwards. Here's what we're gonna do for Comic-Con type of thing yesterday. So I was talking to Paul today, Paul Edwards from DC World, and he sort of said, "Oh, I bet you had a great night last night, didn't you? Watching all the Marvel news coming." I was like, "Yeah, I chatted to him about it for a while." And I said, and he said, "My lot on the other hand." And he said, "We're all sitting there waiting for Henry Cavill to come out, and then just nothing happened. They didn't do it." Yeah, you go look at that. Yep, Roxy.
Yeah. So no, yeah.
Another comment too. From one, he brought up the DC. Oh, this keeps clicking off on me. Hold on. they were just buried and pissed on and spit on their ashes. But yeah, it was all those rumors about. I think the big letdown was that there's all that hype and all those rumors that Henry Cavill was there and was there for Comic-Con, that he was gonna take the role back on Superman, and Alex and I had this conversation. I think it was Alex and I that had this conversation. I kept saying, what if he was casted in the MCU as a role, whether it's Wonder Man, whether it was Doom, Beast, all kinds of roles that they could have done with him. What if Marvel had done it and it's like Marvel didn't do anything as well? Because that would have been the ultimate final nail in the coffin if they announced him an MCU role yesterday.
God, can you imagine? Oh dear. Do you know what though? Just as a thought of Henry Cavill as Doctor Doom. Wow, I never even thought of that before. But because he played, you think of him as Superman, don't you? Or his other roles. But in Mission Impossible Fallout, I'm not sure which, or Rogue Nation. I can't remember. Anyway, he plays a baddie in that, and he was brilliant. I mean, the obvious choice in the MCU is Captain Britain, I guess.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's I forgot Captain Britain, and people also have said Sentry or even Hyperion he could play.
Hyperion, that'd be
And Roxy thinks, and someone goes, please bring him over to the MCU. And then Roxy goes, maybe Wonder Man, which I thought maybe they would answer as Wonder Man as well. And someone goes, whoa, that's never crossed my mind, Andy, on your comment. Oops, I'm clicking the wrong thing.
What comment? What comment? I don't know what to say now. What, bringing him as
Captain Britain or Doom? Maybe Doom comment, maybe? I'm not sure.
That wasn't my idea, but
yeah,
I'll take it.
And then another comment here. Average viewer thought that Thanos did in Infinity War and Endgame was emotional damage. They're not ready for Kang, Dynasty, and Secret Rules at all, which I agree. And tomorrow, since we're running out of time here, same bat time, same bat channel, we will cover the live action stuff, including the Kang Dynasty and Secret Wars and all the other live action movies they announced yesterday for Phase 5 and Phase 6, because we got both lineups. Well, all of Phase 5 and parts of Phase 6 we got yesterday.
Yeah, and then we'll do some speculating on whatever those other Phase 6 things are. Yeah, thank you, RMC. You agree? Yeah, Cavill was Doom. I'll take that. Yep. It's definitely my idea, 100%. While we're online, let's ask him. Jay, do you want to join us tomorrow night if you're available?
See how I feel tomorrow. I could do, yeah. Right.
Well, I'll be back. Jaron will be back. Alex will be
back. Yep.
Jamie might be back, and we are going to do a full hour. There's no news. All we're going to do is just talk about everything that was revealed live action wise from San Diego over the last weekend. All right. So yes. Sorry, see, watch you there. You have to be here. So it's been great having you on, Jay. Great talking about animation and cartoons and stuff like that. That was a fun episode actually. Big one tomorrow, so get your rests in, guys, and we'll catch you guys. Thanks for listening, thanks for watching, and we'll see you again tomorrow.
Goodbye.
Take care.
Why don't you tell them about the time we faced?
All right. Well, as I remember,